Hi everybody, it's Deborah here. Welcome to our podcast. Today we have a special guest. Aaron is here with us today.
Hi.
And Aaron is a physiotherapist, and I actually went to see Aaron when I had a problem with my jaw a couple of years ago now. It just all of a sudden happened something happened with my jaw, and it never happened to me before. And of course I went to the dentist, and the dentist said, well, I think you must go and try some physio. And I actually never really went to physio before, because I guess, through yoga I used to go massage, and I even went, what is the needle thing?
IMS.
No, when you go
Acupuncture.
for acupuncture. So, I did a little bit of acupuncture, thank you, Aaron. But never really so much physio. In any case, I went to physio, and that's when I met Aaron. And I had the completely new experience about what physiotherapy can help us with and what it can do for us. And so I invited him today to talk a little bit about people's injuries, and also, of course, to talk about how our spirituality ties into injuries that we have, and what is our body actually trying to tell us. So for me, in my experience, when I had that locked jaw a little bit, there was some stuff going on, and as I was dealing with that on an emotional level, I was also getting help on a physical level, and I think the two together put me on a different level, I think. And so that's why today I wanted to share the experience with people of how, if you're struggling with an injury or struggling with something that you can't kind of fix yourself, to reach out and get some help. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce you. This is Aaron, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his journey towards becoming a physiotherapist and why. Welcome, Aaron.
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me. I feel kind of honored to be here, actually.
It's an honor to have you.
Yeah, thank you. I am from Newfoundland originally, and I did schooling in Newfoundland, and then I went to physio school at Dalhousie in Halifax, and then I moved out here. And I was always kind of interested in fitness and health, and I got into physio school kind of not knowing what I was doing. And then turned out I really liked it, and it's turned out to be a great way to be able to connect with people and help people, and super rewarding.
Oh wow, yeah. I like that, connect with people. So I guess when you go to school to be a physiotherapist, you think that you just want to help people on a physical level. But would you say that being a physiotherapist is so much more than just the physical level, that you actually see the emotional level behind it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, for me anyway, and every physio would practice differently, the same way any doctor would practice differently, but I think what's hugely important is building a connection with the patient or the person and treating them as a person, right? And kind of looking at their whole life, not just one specific, like their elbow or whatever it might be, right? So looking at how that ties into their whole life and their emotions and their stress level and what they like to do.
And I think that's what kind of struck me the first time I met Aaron, is because I had never really experienced a physiotherapist that was able to kind of try to go that deep with you. And that's why I kind of loved when I found you. It's just like, oh, okay, so physiotherapists are not just on the physical level, because I always believe, and everybody has their own beliefs on this thing, but I believe that everything is connected. And so if an ailment shows up in one area, it's usually even not that area, it's created by something else. And that's another thing that I learned with you as well, with my spine a little bit, and that sciatic pain I had. And so I was just pleasantly surprised that here's this young guy, and he was so in tune with not just the physical, but also let's go to the backstory. And that totally impressed me. And I wanted to just ask Aaron, so having practiced, for a little while now, would you say that people on average, when they come into you, they're not even aware that there's a problem beyond what the expression of the situation is that they came to see you for?
Yeah, and it depends. I mean, there's a large spectrum of people that you get in here. Like, just you see people in the street, some people will have a lot of experience in the gym, or a lot of experience doing yoga, or no experience at all. So you have to kind of base what you're doing around where the person is and kind of like, okay, this person's on this step of the ladder. Let's see if we can get them to the next step of the ladder.
So what is that next step that you're talking about?
Just
their
understanding, of their body and how things play together and their nervous system, really.
So
right?
Would you then say some people come in completely disconnected from that?
Totally.
And would you also say that when we start to connect through that awareness, that we can also then get more insight towards the healing?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying to people. I say that all the time. Your spirituality is interconnected with your daily life, with your injuries, with everything.
Yeah, I like to say that I don't really heal anybody or fix anybody. I show you how to do it yourself, because your body and your mind and soul have an innate ability to do that, but you have to kind of get out of your own way sometimes for a lot of people.
So it's basically about the connection. Sometimes when the connection is not there, because I understand that it's easy for us to lose our connection to ourselves, and mainly because of all the thinking that's going on. There's so much thought process, and here's the thing, it's a good thing that we are thinking, because if you're not thinking, you're going to be dead. Because you're thinking 24/7. Even when you're sleeping, you're still thinking. It's just on a lower level, and it's in a dream state. So the thinking, I know the thinking gets a lot of bashing around, but it's not a bad thing. It's just you have to learn how to navigate the thinking.
Yeah, and I think also not getting too caught up in the thinking and learning how to feel, right? And that kind of brings us to the topic of pain, and how pain is not something that should be ignored, I don't think. It's a tool that you can use because your body's trying to tell you something.
Oh, can you say that again?
Yeah, pain is a tool.
Is a tool.
Yeah,
I love that.
but you have to learn how to, and not just pain, but all the different things that you feel in your body, like tightness here or a twinge there. Those are telling you things, and you just have to develop the skill set to learn how to interpret those signals.
So why do you think we have such an aversion to pain, and why do you think in our society that we are so quick to take the pills and the easy way out not to feel the pain? Do you have any insight on that?
Well, I think with typical Western medicine, with prescription of drugs, people just want to take a pill and make this symptom go away, and not actually get further than that and go deeper than that and fix the problem, because that requires more work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in my small mind, when I was growing up, I used to find that medication meant help. Okay, so when I was younger, and thank God I was never really sickly, but if I had a cold or a flu or something and I needed some medicine, then I used to think that it's a good thing because it's going to heal my body. So I never really learned from a very young age that the body actually has a good capacity to heal itself. And so medicine plays a very good role in that when you take the body to its extreme extent and it can't do anything, then when medication kicks in. But I think what happened to us as a society is that we have completely put aside the capacity for the body to heal itself, and we have completely put our trust and faith in the medical. And so now a lot of people actually, rightly or wrongly, blame the medical profession for all these drugs that's going on, and the fact that people don't try to heal themselves. But I don't think it's that. I think we make that decision ourselves. Yeah,
I think there are different kinds of medicine, and the common phrase is that exercise is medicine. So I think that what I tell people sometimes is that you don't really have a choice. At some point in your life, you will need to take medicine. And whether it's pharmacological medicine or whether it's preventative exercise or mobility-based medicine, that's up to you when it comes to a physical ailment. But kind of it differs for internal things. Obviously there's huge advancements with. Yeah, and there's huge ranges of medication and what's wrong with you. But I think 9 out of 10 times, if you give your body a chance, the body will do it. And what I found personally in my life is food is a medicine too. Totally.
But what we're doing and we have done with food is completely the opposite now. So now food is not energy anymore. It's actually poison a lot of the times. And so you're poisoning your body, eating too much, eating late, eating wrong. There's so much around that food that was supposed to be medicine. And even in my yoga classes, I always talk about how the yoga class is like a medicine. You're cleaning out your internal organs, you're flushing out the junk, you're creating more fresh, high-speed oxygenated blood. So it's all medicine. So it's interesting to hear you talk about that medicine is not necessarily only that pharmaceutical type of medicine. And I also heard one time that somebody said that your body can actually create all these even, how people go on drugs and stuff like that, and your body can naturally create a lot of these drugs.
Yeah, like endogenous opioids, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
And I think I might have experienced it a little bit with breathing techniques and also yoga, because sometimes you can do a breathing technique and you can just be euphoric,
Or like the common one is like the runner's high.
Yeah, exactly. Or even any exercise high. You just you get kind of a little bit addicted because you got that hit, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so that's nice to bring out to our listeners as well, is to recognize that medicine is not just pharmaceutical medicine. I love what Aaron said about how you can create preventative medicine through perhaps some exercise, through perhaps some, eating better, sleeping better, managing your thinking process, because a lot of people don't realize how sick the mind is, and when the mind is sick, then it projects the sickness, and the sickness comes back to you. So if you're feeling like that in your life, then one of the better things to do is just start meditating, so you can start to watch that thought process. Because when you get behind the thought process, then you can see it's actually not you, because people make the mistake of thinking that they are their thoughts. So if the thoughts are good, it's okay, but mostly the thoughts are negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you give somebody 9 compliments and you give them 1 insult, what do you think they're going to remember?
Yeah, the insult.
The 1 insult, because somehow our brains are wired to hang on to the negative. Look at our world. There's so many good things that's happening in the world, like literally. And the news, what are they talking about? The bad things. So what are people all focusing on? The bad things.
So that's coming in as the bad things.
Exactly. So, I always say to people, what you get out from your life is what you put in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you want something better to come towards you, you need to start cleaning out that thinking process.
Yeah, I like how you said how you observe the thoughts, right? And what I was speaking about earlier about interpreting the signals that your body is telling you, meditation can help you to learn what those signals mean.
Right.
Yeah, in like an observation kind of way.
Right. Because maybe I take it a little bit further, because I do believe that the body innately knows how to heal itself, but because of all the thinking that goes on, we can't hear.
Yeah, and that definitely depends on where you are on that awareness level too.
That spiritual
Yeah.
Connectedness to yourself.
Yeah, because some people who are less aware would not, their innate intelligence would be blocked by so much other stuff. So really, functionally, they don't have that innate intelligence, right? So you have to get through all that first, and then you unlock that.
And that's really kind of beautiful to know that innately everything is there for you, but because of all the junk, you kind of been separated from it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I have a meditation twice a week, a live meditation that I do, because I'm so passionate, and I believe so much that if people just start meditating once a day for 10 to 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and then eventually 20 minutes, that's a really good time. I guarantee you your life is going to change. Why? Because when you start to get quiet in the mind, you start to hear the intelligence. And the intelligence is going to guide you through this life. Because if you really open your eyes, you can see that life is happening for you. Life is not happening against you. So typically when a client comes in to see you, it's bad, they're in pain, they can't think, it's overwhelming. And so if you show them, if you can just bring a little bit more awareness to even other areas of your life, then you'll be able to manage this thing better.
Yeah, and with pain, especially in chronic pain, sometimes people's perception of pain is that if I get cut right here, that equals some level of pain, which is true at first. But when you have pain for a long time, the pain changes. And instead of this physical stimulus causing a certain sensation, that physical stimulus causes basically a nerve impulse that goes and gets interpreted in the brain, but it gets interpreted with your ideas around pain, your ideas around your health, and your ideas around your healing. And then all of that comes together to make this feeling of pain. right?
Oh, wow.
So if you change those ideas, then you change the pain.
And I can tell you a story, because I went to see Aaron on another occasion because I had I get a sciatic on and off. So I went to Aaron, and he discovered that I had some between L3 and 4, I think it was.
Yeah, 4, 5.
And he usually he loosens it up for me, and then it kind of dissipates. And it was too funny, because I went back to him and I said to him, I think like there's still pain, and he checked my back and he said, no, your back's open. And you know what had happened is exactly what he explained, because your brain gets used to the pain signal, and even the pain wasn't really there.
Yeah.
The signal was still coming, and that was like a aha moment for me. It was amazing, like literally amazing. And I've used that technique actually in other areas of my body too, not just in that one area. So that's what I'm talking about, that the kind of connection that you can have when you have somebody that understands how to take you there and how to explain it to you, and then that spiritual connection that you have to yourself becomes clearer.
Yeah.
So now actually in my life, when something goes on, I immediately get like a light bulb, and it's because now unfortunately I haven't been able to see Aaron in like, I don't know, maybe a year, because I'm so good at it.
Yeah, no, that's good. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to that point, and they're stuck in the, like, where you would have been, where there's nothing actually wrong anymore from a physical standpoint, but the pain remains, and they just live with the pain.
Yeah, and it's like literally it's not there. It's like you know when people have their legs cut off or something, and then they get like a sensation in the leg, but it's not there anymore. That kind of thing. So if that's, you know, the reason I'm doing this podcast today is just to help listeners to understand that sometimes like this pain is also not really there anymore. It's like, and so again, the value of creating this relationship with yourself to become spiritually connected to yourself, to your intuition and to your intelligence is going to make a difference in your entire life, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So I always urge people, try one or the other, and then meet somewhere in the middle. Like when people come to Aaron, for example, and they are not that connected themselves. But I really love that about how Aaron actually, he really shows you and takes you on that little journey. And he's also very good at understanding exactly where your level is. And he's always taking it, he loves to see me because we can go on a very high level. So that's fun for me too. So, you know, it's very important, so don't worry where you are. Like if you're suffering from something, go get help. You know, and then because there's always somebody who's going to connect with you and who can help you. But just to know that physical pain is not always actually the problem.
Yeah. And then that brings you back to like the observing thing, right? So if you can observe the thoughts and why, okay, I'm having this stuff. Oh, maybe that has something to do with my perception of my pain, because I just have this belief that I'm going to be like this, right? And that you just told yourself that, right? And you made it up. Right?
Okay, so that's a very deep conversation right there. Guess what? We're making it all up.
Yeah, we're making it all up. Yeah.
We're making it all up. But I really appreciate it so much to get the guidance from you into that. It's like fine-tuning. It was a fine-tuning for me into like what I already was doing, but it was just so nice to have somebody who could help me to fine-tune, and I appreciated that so much. That's why I always wanted to get you on this podcast, because I wanted to share it with people. And if you're lucky enough to have a physiotherapist like Aaron, go and enjoy them. And if you're looking for somebody really good, I'm going to put all these details in the bio where you can get hold of him. And today was all about, again, your connection to the self is going to help you literally to get out of some of the pain, because 90% of the pain actually is this illusionary pain. Like it's even not there anymore, but we just need a little bit of help. So I would encourage our listeners to reach out and get some help. But most of all, if you can't do anything, just meditate every day, because even if you just have a meditation practice daily, you're going to get there.
And even if you think when you're meditating, you think nothing's happening, just have faith that something is happening. Just know that something is happening, and just give yourself some time to let it develop.
Wonderful. Well, Aaron, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you could join us today. I
Yeah,
appreciate it so much. And I appreciate you so much. And like when I first met Aaron, I was like, because he's pretty young, for those who can still see him, and I was like, oh my God, he's so young, and he has such a deep understanding, like such a depth, you know. And then I wasn't so surprised after I got to know him a little bit, because even though he's so young, he's so connected to himself, and it made totally sense to me that he's such a good physiotherapist because he is connected to himself. He does the work on himself, and therefore, because he does the work on himself, he can help his clients better. So if you're looking for a great physiotherapist, I can highly recommend this guy here. Thank you everybody for joining us today. It's always my honor and my privilege to be here and to help us see how we can live our best life, and how we can, in this particular podcast, I would say, pain-free. And understanding the pain better, and to know that the pain is not necessarily bad, that it's trying to teach us something, it's trying to tell us something. So with that, I will let you all go, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.